everyone. It is the top of the hour, so we are going to get started. Welcome to today's live webinar, Introduction to Microsoft Dynamics 365 for Talent. My name is Natalie, and I am the Marketing Manager here at CR Group. I am also joined by your presenter today, Yugonk, who's one of our Dynamics specialists here. So just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. This presentation is being recorded and will be sent out to you later this week, along with the slides. We also encourage a lot of questions, so be sure to type them in to your GoToWebinar panel, and we will reserve time at the end of the presentation to get to all of them, hopefully. Finally, it isn't coffee with CR Group without the coffee, so keep an eye out later today for your coffee gift card as a little thank you from all of us for joining. Now, we do have 90 minutes booked off for today's webinar, but depending on the number of questions, we'll probably come in a little ahead of that. Okay, so we do have a lot to get through today, but I promise you will leave here with some great ideas and an excellent understanding of Dynamics 365 for Talent. We are going to run through some very interesting statistics that are driving change. Then we're going to dive into the power of the Microsoft Cloud and what that means for you as HR in terms of implementing a system like this and ensuring it's integrated into your company's digital strategy. Then I'm going to pass things over to Yugonk, who will give you a great overview of the tools available to you in Talent, including a live demonstration, so you can see this application for yourself. All right, so a little bit about CR Group before we dive in. I see a lot of familiar names joining us, so thank you. But for those who are not aware, we are a gold certified Microsoft partner, and we have been leaders in the space for a very long time now. We really work with our clients to leverage the Microsoft solutions across their entire organization so they can empower their employees and align their teams. And early on, we also discovered that in order to provide truly complete business transformation, our clients needed effective systems and tools for finance and HR. As such, we do partner with leading budgeting and CPM systems like Board, Adaptive Insights, and Rapid Start. And in 2004, we built a complete employee performance management solution, CRG Perform. So Perform has since grown into a key player in the performance management space. It has won awards for its flexibility and feature set. And needless to say, our team has been deep in the HR and HR tech space for over 15 years now. We are frequent sponsors and speakers at HR conferences and contribute to discussions around talent management. So naturally, when Microsoft announced that they were going to pour resources into developing a complete talent management toolkit to add to its arsenal, we were very excited, and this is right in our wheelhouse. So before we dive in, why did Microsoft decide to dive into the HR space? And as I said before, modern businesses are demanding complete business systems that work together across the enterprise, and this means people and human resources. So this journey actually started quite a while ago when Microsoft acquired LinkedIn, as you all know, and it has really evolved from there into what we think is a phenomenal solution for businesses looking for talent management functionality, but who are also executing digital transformation across their company. And considering Microsoft's R&D budget is somewhere around the $9 billion mark, they definitely know what they are doing, and they are putting it to use for HR. And as you all know, companies need good people, so they're focusing on finding better ways to attract and retain the best possible talent among top-performing employees. So organizational success is tied directly to talent, and the role of human resources is critical to finding, developing, and keeping this talent. Many companies are also struggling to empower their hiring managers with the tools needed to find candidates and create a successful onboarding experience that will pave the way to growth for employees and for the company as a whole. But there's another angle to this. The way your company hires and onboards employees actually does reflect your company's brand and how it is being perceived. Just a few studies here, one by Career Builder, showed that 4 out of 5 candidates equate the hiring process to how a company values its people. And an overwhelming number of candidates agree that the actual candidate experience will change their mind, and that's either in a good or a bad way, and that's according to Recruiting Briefs. So needless to say, every interaction and touch point that you have with candidates and those top performing people out there will determine the quality of the candidates that ultimately accept positions at your company. And it doesn't stop there. The experience after hiring is just as critical to employee and company success. The Society for Human Resources Management reported 50% greater new hire productivity and a much better chance of employees staying at the company for longer with organizations that actually have a well-defined onboarding process in place. So there's no question that talent management technology can greatly improve your hiring and onboarding processes, but HR technology must be factored into the company's overall digital transformation roadmap. Companies today aren't procuring software in silos like they used to. They are really moving to a digital-first integrated approach for business systems for the many benefits that you can see on your screen right now, and that is truly where Microsoft shines. So as you can see here, Dynamics 365 for Talent is just one of the Dynamics 365 solutions offered to unite businesses and ensure that your company's systems are integrated. This not only provides complete accessibility for your teams as they can access and connect all of their Microsoft applications, but it also ensures that your company's data and how it is used and how it flows through your entire organization is seamless. The way that Microsoft has built out their solution ecosystem really means that your company can approach digital transformation in a way that makes sense for you, all while, of course, having the security, knowing that Microsoft has thought of it and tied everything together. So chances of you looking at the screen now, you're probably using or planning to use a few, if not a lot of these systems, or planning to, let's say, move to the cloud with Office 365. And Microsoft is supporting unprecedented transformation here because companies can literally connect their business systems for an uninterrupted flow of data, decision-making, and of course, your people's ability to access all of your business systems and tools. So as an example, using Talent, you can feed HR data right into Power BI for analysis. You can make use of Power Apps for custom apps and workflows to customize practically everything that you need. So all of these systems really do work together. All right, so what do you get with Dynamics 365 for Talent? And my colleague Yugong is going to take you through everything, but just as a high level, Microsoft has created a full suite of kind of modular functionality across the hiring and applicant tracking, onboarding, core HR, employee performance, and compliance. Just a quick note on the performance side, we do have clients using mPerform who integrate with Talent, as our proprietary solution includes additional performance tools, things like 360s, compensation planning, succession planning, ad hoc reviews. So depending on your needs, mPerform can be used for complete performance management and integrated with Talent. But overall, from centralizing your people data with HR management to scalable modular talent experiences, Dynamics 365 Talent really has everything that you need. So let's take a quick look at what this means for you, and then we'll go into these modules in further detail. And just a reminder to get any questions that you have for us in, and we are reserving time at the end to get to them. Okay, so end-to-end value, and that's why we are so passionate about this application and about Talent. It does really drive value across the entire employee life cycle. Your team can hire the right people faster, bring them aboard effectively for success, promote continuous learning to fast-track development and growth, and really maximize the strategic impact of this system to drive company growth. So let's take a closer look at the tools available to you in Dynamics 365. I'm going to pass things over to Yugong, who will run through everything in detail.
Thank you, Natalie. And thanks for everyone who has joined the webinar today. So coming on to the point where Natalie has just stressed the need of having an end-to-end solution, which Microsoft has rightly invested in. It provides strategic alignment for attracting, retaining, onboarding, and managing employees and making a modern workforce more effective. So Microsoft offers Attract and Onboard, which basically meets the requirements of attracting the right candidates faster in the organization for the open positions and making their experience really impressive while they are in the onboarding journey within the organization. So they have access to the right resources in a timely manner, and they can then effectively contribute while they are in the organization. And on the screen on the right-hand side, you can see the various modules which HR can manage for the employees, like day-to-day activities and managing their performance lifecycle, how employees can easily access to their day-to-day requirements of updating information about themselves through self-surveys, and the analytics part, which HR can easily generate from within the talent module. So there is no extra effort which is required by a human resource department to generate analytics. So it is automatically created for you while you are in the talent application. Coming back to the attract part, so Microsoft has recently acquired LinkedIn, as you may already be aware of, which is like the world's largest sourcing of our candidates. And it has the integration point where the attract integrates closely with LinkedIn, wherein you can access the profiles of the applicants or the candidates. You have the ability to post jobs directly from your attract module into the LinkedIn through your LinkedIn Connect. And on the left-hand side, you will see that it has a deep integration with Office 365, which implies that you can have the access of calendars of the hiring managers, so you can easily schedule interviews, and the intelligence which runs behind the attract automatically suggests the available time slots of the hiring managers along with the recruitment team. And once the invitation has been finalized, you can customize the responses which needs to be sent to the candidates and with the options for them to select for the interview. And the whole process of posting a job onto the outside world can be customized according to the job postings, which may be different for different teams, and it can be saved as templates as well. So you can create jobs, you can define the processes for each of those jobs, you can unify the candidate profiles, you can simplify and organize the interview process effectively, and if some candidates may not be qualifying 100% for the job, you may park them for future by having them as part of the talent pools. So the whole life cycle gives you a defined process which is repeatable and reliable. So as we talked about attract, how it looks like, you can see on the screen. So it has been reported that 20% of the CEO's time is being spent on the talent management, and attract basically helps in reducing that time. And with the attract, you have a 360-degree candidate view. You can definitely rely on the transparency and the collaboration it provides through its various features. And you can streamline the interview process. So it reduces the clutter where you have a lot of back and forth with the hiring managers. And if there are multiple hiring managers involved, it becomes even more challenging for the recruitment and the hiring manager and the human resource managers to streamline the interview process. But having really state-of-the-art features, attract helps in streamlining the whole process. So we will look that in detail as well while we go into the demo part. Onboarding is a very important part of any organization, especially when they have invested so much of time and money in getting the right candidates, and they're the prized possession for any recruitment team. It becomes even more important to have their journey more customized and impressive. So onboarding feature or module within the MS Talent provides basically the ability of having the onboarding guides prepared for each of the employees who have joined, and you can easily share those onboarding guides before their joining dates, and you can have all the resources listed, which would be easier for them to for the new candidates to access. And so they exactly know what they can expect during the first week, first month, and the first 3 months while they are in the organization. The core HR administration features within the MS Talent helps the HR to be more strategic in nature rather than doing a lot of tasks which are time consuming and which eats a lot of time from the HR day-to-day activities, like responding to employee queries which are very basic in nature, and there are some queries which can be resolved by employees themselves. So we will take a look how employee self-service within MS Talent is able to cut the time which HR is spent on those activities, and that save time, can be used in a more strategic manner for the organization. And it is configurable, and it is flexible. So it meets your expanding business requirements and evolving business needs. It also supports all the compliance regulations, more specifically for US, but again, it has very generic forms which can be used for any organization in any part of the world. It also have reports and analytics, so which provides a quick insight for capturing the pulse of the organization. So if there is any need where you send reports to the management, so from that perspective, you can provide the access to the management themselves, and they can slice and dice the data which is showed in the analytics themselves. I have been stressing a lot on the people analytics part. So it is powered by Power BI, so you may already be aware that it is also a very popular product from Microsoft, and it is deeply integrated within MS Talent. So all the data which resides within Talent is automatically converted into like the industry standard reports and analytics. That analytics can be captured, exported out of the system as well for further analysis and reporting. So HR does not need to invest extra time and money to get trained for the training part to build those reports. It is already generated automatically for you. So it helps it enables the HR to take insight-driven decisions. When we talk about MS Talent, it is also important to talk about the underlying technology which is powered for MS Talent. And from that perspective, it's important to stress on the need that it is 100% cloud. That means your data resides outside the organization or safely in the cloud premises. Very recently, Microsoft has invested in opening new Canadian data center, which would help the Canadian businesses to move to cloud with more confidence. With the easy monthly subscription plans, it becomes very easy for the businesses to manage their cost and predict the cost of maintaining the HR systems. It can be accessed from outside the system and through mobile apps, so which empowers the employees while they are not in the organization, they can still have access to the information and can apply for leaves and see the information which would be important for them. And as you see, if it is cloud, then there is no downtime. So it is always 100% uptime. You don't need to worry about upgradation as well, because it is automatically upgraded from Microsoft, and that is an additional benefit of being on cloud. So we have talked a lot. So now is the time for actually see how MS Talent looks and what it can help you to achieve. So as you can see on my home screen, this is the home page of Talent. It may look different as per the display settings of your end system, but it gives you an ability to easily navigate into the respective module within the MS Talent, and it provides end-to-end features to manage your core HR administration. So first thing first, which is common for all the roles within the organization, which is employee self-service. So I would quickly come on and explain what employee self-service helps you to achieve. As you can see on the top right-hand side, it shows DAT, which is just like a company name. So if your organization has multiple companies or multiple legal entities, you can manage or bucket the data accordingly. So the employees would be within that legal entity or company, and then you can manage the data in a more reliable manner, and you can also apply roles and security. So the data of HR of one company is restricted within that bucket itself. So that is something which is a very important feature. So employee self-service is common across all roles. So all the employees who have access to MS Talent would be able to have the employee self-service. If you are a manager or a manager role is assigned to you, you would also be able to see an additional tab, which is the My Team, which I would talk in a moment. So if you're within the employee self-service, you can do a lot of actions yourself, like applying for leaves, looking for the courses in which you are registered, looking in tasks which has been assigned to you. You can manage your certificates. You can see when is your next scheduled review happening, and if any performance goals are assigned to you and if they are on track, how many skills you possess, and you can constantly go and update your skills as well. And you can have some attachments like your certificates, your resume, or whatever which may be required from time to time as the business needs. So as a very simple requirement of many HR teams is that the employee should be able to easily apply for leaves. So you can just quickly go and click on the request time off, and it will open up a form where you can select the leave type from the drop down. So the leave for accordingly, like the leave plans you have been assigned to. You can have your start and end dates. You can have your comment section. If you are taking a sick leave, for example, for more than 3 days, you may be required by law or by the company policies to attach a sick note or a doctor's note. You can attach that as well. If you are planning for a vacation but you're not sure at the moment, you can, instead of submitting, you can save it as a draft. So you can come back any point in time and apply for that leave. Or if you're just applying backdated, you can just submit the vacation wherever you want to, whenever you want to take that. So as you are applying for a leave, it would automatically detect from your existing pool of available leaves under each leave plan. So you can see how much is available, how much you have requested, and what would be the post scenario remaining. So that is something which you can easily look from here. And then you can see that you can see all the courses which are open to you, and you can have your certificates lined up and other actions which you can perform. So on the very right-hand side, you will see the additional information section, which gives you a quick access to the various links to which you maybe have the access to. So you can look upon any questionnaire which has been assigned to you, or you even can have custom links which can be added, like I just added LinkedIn, so which would directly take me to my LinkedIn profile. So that can be also be configured. So as you can see, it provides one platform to access various information which employee in the real world may be reaching out to HR, and HR may be wasting time literally, responding to those emails. So it empowers both HR managers and employees to take things in their own control. Now, coming on to the personal details. So there may be a change in address, there may be change in contact details, their personal contacts, their identification numbers, or as simple as changing their existing image, which is there. So all these information can be edited by the employee themselves. And if organization policy doesn't allow that free update to happen, HR can work to have the workflows associated with it. So if they are changing an address, it won't be directly reflected. It would go through the workflow mechanism, and it for approval for, like, say, for their immediate manager or to the HR, however the organization would want to design. And once it has been approved, then only that personal information would be updated. So as you can see, we have address tabs, contact details, personal contacts, identification numbers. So all these identification numbers which you are seeing can be customized. You can control the list. You can show like as many identification number which your organization supports. Coming back to the employee self-service. Now, for example, if I'm a manager and have a manager role assigned to me within MS Talent, I would be able to see my team section. So I can see all the people who are reporting under me and the information which I have been allowed to see as being a manager. So I can see I have a person, Claire, who is reporting to me, and I can see other information regarding his position, compensation, his leaves and absence, his performance goals, etc. And these two tabs which you are seeing in the team skills assessment, if I click on this, I can see for Claire, these are the skills which are shown to me in the graphic section. So you can see Claire has been taking a lot other courses and updating the skills in more of accounting and budgeting side of things, apart from the HR, which is his core competencies. And you can view this graphic in various ways. So it is just a very simple example. You may have multiple people, and you can select those people and see where they stand as of today as far as their skills are concerned. Coming on to the skill gap analysis, so you had a conversation with Claire recently, for example, and Claire wants to move from his role in HR to, say, a job in accounting. So to make this decision easier, you can just select a person, for example, Claire, and you can have the target job accountant selected, and you can select the date, and you click on update, and you would be able to see how easy it is for any hiring manager or any immediate manager to take the decision if that person has the required skills to go on to a different job. It can be used for succession planning, career growth, career transition, whatever. And you can see that in the tabular format, when the skills were updated and what is the target level. So all this data is coming from the system, and it is reliable. And you can then go and print this report, and you can take further decisions. And if you want to see the team performance reviews, you can see that you have a one-on-one which is coming with Claire, and you can work on that form as well. So I would be covering that part in the respective section. So closing it for now. Another very important aspect of being a manager within MS Talent is there is a ongoing requirement where managers are requesting HR for new positions, and this process may involve having a standardized form or having no form at all, and it creates a lot of back and forth scenarios where a manager is reaching out to human resources with half or incomplete information, and HR is responding back asking for more information, and this cycle takes a lot of time. To meet that requirement, it is very easy for HR to have a standardized approach of requesting the employee requisition form to be filled in a defined format from all hiring managers. Just an example, if I'm requesting a new position and I select that I want to create a new position which is like urgent and give a reason code of additional organization growth, just to mention, all the values which you're seeing in the drop-down can be customized as per the business needs of the organization. So it's just a sample scenario which I'm taking on. So once I go and click on the continue, I see the form, and it has all the required or optional fields which may be required by HR. So this is just an industry standard form which Microsoft has created. You can work during the implementation part how you want this form to look like. And once this form has been submitted, a new position requisition is completed and submitted to HR for further action. So HR can then take on within their hierarchy to decide if that position needs to be posted as a job or not. So all this is taken care of within MS Talent. And if you want a new person within the organization to join your team for, say, additional project or additional assignment, you can work in a similar way by clicking on requesting a new employee, and you can submit that request to HR. Again, as I mentioned, there is a workflow which can be configured and associated with all of these requisitions which I am talking about. So once the workflows are live, all the requests which are going to HR would be following the steps as defined in the workflow. It may be approvals from their immediate managers and then submitting to HR, or any other workflow which we can define while we are doing a business requirement discovery phase during the implementation. Now, coming on to the scenario where you are working and one of your employees just called you and say that he or she is not able to access the system at the moment, but on their behalf, that person would want you to file for a sick leave. So I just search for the person, say John Smith, and I can pull up the John Smith profile, and I can see that I have the option of viewing the personal information, and also I have the leave and absence section. So I can submit a request for leave on behalf of John, while if John doesn't have access to the system for any reason. So I can just click on the form and I will see the same form which you can see from the employee self-service. Additional scenarios, just to show you, is like very often there are calls coming to HR department to verify the employment for whatsoever reason. For example, employee has a file for a loan or a mortgage, and somebody calls in to verify if this person works in the organization. So if you just click on the personal tab while you are on that person's profile page, you can just click on verify employment, and you can quickly view the required information which you may want to share for the person who has called for verification, like if this company is an employee and when he started, and if you want to share, just confirm the annual compensation or not, like it's again your judgment. So that information is available to HR quickly and very easily. You can just give enough information for verification, and you can see all of the information which are there. You can take additional steps, like you can assign this person to a position, you can change position. This is just the shortcut of doing much more exhaustive options which you would do from the personal management section, which I will just come in a moment. So this is all the action which are available in the people section. In the personal management, this is where all the action for HR happens. So you can see in the tile view, you have the information available very easily, just like an alert, like which candidates you have to hire, which candidates are starting soon, how many people or which people have joined recently, and who are exiting the organization or who are exited the organization. Again, all the number, like the number of days plus minus, this can be configured, which would qualify for HR to see them in a tile view. So this is just a quick view of having what may be important for any HR person to look while they are on this particular screen. So from this screen as well, you can see that you have employee changes section, which you can see that what is going on in the organization, like in terms of the changes which has happened for the employees, and in which status are these actions items are. The whole report can be exported out in an Excel format, and you can add additional columns or remove the columns which may not be required by right-clicking and on the screen and just adding additional columns. Similarly, you can see the position changes which has been happening within the organization. So again, this report can be exported out, and the positions which are open for this organization at the moment. So these are the open positions in which HR may be working with the respective departments, and these positions may qualify to be posted as jobs. Or if you have an internal candidate who qualifies for those positions, you can assign directly that worker to the position, and this position can be fulfilled. And you can see the hierarchy, like the hierarchy of this position within this view. So I will just close this at a moment. And the analytics section, so it pulls out all the data which is there and shows you in the form of a Power BI reports. So as you can see, a rich analytics is generated, and HR does not need to create any of those reports. These are automatically created. And you have the different tabs for different reports, and they're all industry standard, and it pretty much covers everything which may be important for HR to understand. So you can see what is the ratio of female to male within the organization, which is 55%, what is employee age, the head count, and which is the most spoken language within the organization. And if you want to slice and dice the data, you can do for all or the companies which you are interested in. Like this, again, depending upon the access you have for the legal entities, but this pretty much covers all the data which is showed you in terms of analytics. Now, if you want to hire a contractor, so hiring an employee and a contractor follows a different process because it is treated differently within MS Talent. So there are some, so you can bucket your employees within both the job types, like being a full-time employee and being a contractor. So it helps to better manage the employee data. If I click on the link section, you would see a lot of basic elements which you can set it up. So if you are a company which is managing data in Excel, or you have an existing system which already has this information, you don't need to create everything from scratch, like the data within MS Talent. There are defined MS Talent defined templates in Excel and CSV formats. So we can get your data in that particular format and import it as a batch job within MS Talent. And very easily, all your data can be migrated without any hassles. And if you can see your list of employees, the workers, your equipments which are loaned to employees, all the basic information which is there can be imported and set it up from here. So this is basically like a setup screen for HR to take care of. Coming on to the additional aspect of personal management, which is leave and absence. So it has been configured separately here. So if you can see, I can go to different companies and view the leave plans for different companies. So now I have navigated to USMF from DAT, and you can see the change in the leave plan. So each company may have different leave plans, and you can manage it differently. So you can see that USMF has adoption leave, childcare leave, etc. You can create new plans and define the different information for that leave plans. And you can then assign it to employees or copy a very similar leave plan to create a new leave plan, which is quickly, which may be very similar. I can just, copy it from a leave plan or from an existing leave plan and create a new one. I can assign employees to the respective leave plans from here, or I can assign leave plans which may be applicable only to contractors. And you can see that it also has an analytics section. So just to mention that analytics section is pretty much in all the modules within the MS Talent. So analytics is automatically generated for that prospective module. So you can have a leave and absence overview, your current balance analysis, your balance trend analysis, as an example. All this data can be exported out, or you can, click to show the data, or you can just spotlight it and apply filters accordingly. From here, again, whenever you see a link tab, you can just relate of setting up the things up for that particular module. So here you can see that I can define the accrual logic for those leave plans. I can manage the leave and absence request, so I can see which particular employee has taken which leave, and each leave request has a request ID, so that can be tracked, and that report can be exported out of the system as well for reporting purposes. And you have all the parameters which you can define for that particular module. So again, this is one-time configuration which may be required to be executed. Coming on to the benefit section. So the benefit section allows you to create benefits for full-time employees or benefits for your contractors. So you can have the ability of creating the benefit elements from the links section. Once the basic elements are defined, they roll up and help you define, say, company car benefit, dental benefits, or medical HMO extract, etc. So there are various logics while you are defining a benefit plan, like if you want to create a benefit plan only for executive management or employees with special needs, etc. Once those benefits are defined, you can create enrollment guides for that particular year, and those enrollment guides help you distribute all the benefits electronically to the employees, so they can acknowledge that they have read those benefits for, say, 2019 or, say, 2020, and that can be arranged. So I will just click on edit so that you are able to see what I am talking about. So you can see all the steps which are shown to you in the enrollment guide section. So you can give, say, 2020 here, for example. You can say the year and start and end date and any description. Once you move on to the people section, you can apply it to single or multiple companies you want this enrollment guide to be rolled out to. You can assign only to employees, or you can assign for both employees and contractors if your organization doesn't distinguish in terms of benefits. And you can assign the position type. Should it be only for full-time employees, part-time, or seasonal? And it would show all the benefits which are rolled up in the package of the enrollment guide. And then it runs the eligibility in the background and shows you all the eligible employees which would be eligible for those benefits. So you don't need to worry about that at the moment. So I will just cancel it. And once it is done, you can see that how that enrollment experience would look to the end users. So you can just have a look, and if it looks good, you can just finish, and you can make this enrollment guide live or rolled out to the employees of the organization. Again, analytics section, all the data is shown in form of insights for benefit section. Coming back now to the compensation part, which is part of how you define the compensation for your organization. So it would involve setting up a fixed compensation plan or a variable compensation plan, depending how your organization defines. So this is something which we work closely with HR and the business teams. And once we get enough information, we set the compensation plans. So as you can see, I have defined various bands within fixed compensation plans. And those bands have a compensation structure where I can define the levels, say B1 with a minimum, mid, and maximum minimum and maximum and midpoint. So your employees or the new candidates who have joined your organization, you can be sure that they are paid fairly. And if you want to have you can choose to apply the soft or the hard checks. If an employee is paid below a certain minimum salary range for that particular level at which he or she is working, the system would alert the user that this particular salary for the employee is outside the range which is defined. So again, you can work in getting that compensation set up for various bands or various groups. And once that compensation structure has been defined, you can then apply, you can just run the process, and that would be applied for all the compensation would be rolled out to the employees. And then again, this compensation can be defined for process events, and it can be tied with the performance of the employees, and you can have your merit target increases associated with those compensation. Coming on to the variable compensation plans, it can be like bonuses or stock options. And the form basically for the variable compensation is modified accordingly, and it gives you all the fields which may be required for setting a variable compensation plan successfully. Once this has been done, if I scroll on the right, you can see the quick analysis by how the number of employees by number of employees and by department, the various analytics which are generated. And if I click on the analytics sections, it would show me additional reports regarding how my compensation looks like for the organization which I have selected. So here it selects all. I can see the average pay for hourly employees is $19.86. And then there are other additional reports which you can see from here. And the link section, as I mentioned, it is all the setup which you can do. Like, you can have your levels defined, your reference points, compensation, pay rate conversions, and other actions which you can see. So as you can see from pretty much all the modules have links section, which helps you set up and define what is required by organization. So it gives a flexible approach of setting things as just mostly as a one-time activity, and it can meet any organization needs pretty easily. So once we have talked about compensation, now it is very important to also understand the performance management, which is also known as employee development in MS Talent. So if I click on the link section, you can see that I can work and define, through the performance journals. So it is nothing but just as a note entry. Journal is like a note entry of all the performance activities which has been taking place both by employees and manager. So employee can have their own version of performance journal, and the managers can have their own version. An employee may or may not opt to choose their journal with the manager. So you can have your goals templates defined here. So then you can assign these goal templates for the reviews. So it is very easy for any manager or employee to choose the goals from the goal templates. You can have the reviews which are currently being undertaken within the organization. So you can see various, in this particular screen, the various reviews which are assigned to different employees. So if as an HR, it is pretty common that you are kicking off annual review for the whole organization. So you can click on mask creation and you can select the type of review which you want to kick off for the whole organization, which is mostly annual reviews. And then it is assigned to all employees, including managers, and then the other mechanics you can work out while you are designing that review type. And here you can see all the setup of like having the categories, templates, groups, types of reviews, the period. And this gives a lot of flexibility for HR managers to define the performance reviews as per their business needs and requirements. You can have your skill mapping profiles, the skill mapping, and it's pretty much similar in what we saw in the employee self-service of the manager section. You can do pretty much same for the whole organization, how the employee stands as far as their skills are concerned against the job, and it can be used for, say, succession planning as well. The competency setup helps to have a repository of all the skills which may be important for your organization, so you can add up all the skills. Here you can have your rating models, your certificates, like if you are an accounting company, you may have a CPA or other CMA certificates information added up here. So this is again all one-time activity which we can work with you and help you either importing the data into the system or help you easily set up all that data. Coming on to the learning section. So learning is basically helps HR to manage the courses. So there are a lot of logistics and management issues which HR faces, and Microsoft has done a great job in how easily you can manage the courses and the course participants and other associated logistical requirements around it. So this analytics provides you the information of how the learning is going, giving you a picture of how the learning is being undertaken in your organization, like learning overview, how the registrations are there, the instructor analysis, and other course types. If I click on the links section, so you can see all the courses which the organization has at the moment. So it may be annual, maybe quarterly, or or maybe required for that particular job to be completed. For example, if you are a banking or an insurance company, you may be having ethics courses to be taken on an annual basis. So you can define those courses here, and then you can roll out the courses for open enrollment to all the employees in the organization. Or if you want to have anything specific, you can define that. You can select the employees from here, and then you can enroll the employees into the particular courses. You can have questionnaires designed, and you can roll out those questionnaires as, say, survey questions or feedback for those associated courses. You can have your course locations defined, so you may have your meeting rooms allocated for those courses, and it may be coming up as a checklist while you are setting up the courses. Same with instructors, your classrooms. So everything which you define in the setup comes as a drop-down value while you are designing the courses. You can design your own questionnaires, your answer groups, and then again, you can analyze your survey questions, and you can look at the statistics and other stuff. Coming on to the compliance. So when you see here in I-9, this is more of the US Pacific, and these reports on the middle of the section here, but it doesn't really matter, as it also offers you a very generic form of recording the injury or illness incidents. So if you click here, you can see all the reports which has been filed for those incidents up to date. You have the case number, which is unique. You have a date and time and other information which you can capture, and all this report can be shared with the organization both inside and outside. You can export this information out of the system as well. And again, you can, as I said, you can set up, like, it provides a flexible approach, so you can have your own form design, the own values. You can set it up for injury and illness. It also offers you the business processes section. So what it means is, like, for HR, it is pretty common that they are, reviewing the salary for various pay bands and levels, and there may be a lot of associated tasks which are associated for that bigger project. So it may be a quarterly project or an annual project. So what HR people can do, they can create a big project, say salary review. They can have associated tasks defined, and then they can give a description, and then they can assign to that particular task to a person to fix the accountability and have a due dates defined, and they can then track the status. So it provides you the ability of task management as well, and then you can track how far you are in terms of running the HR projects. So this may be helpful in managing through one platform, even your task management, which is not employee specific, but maybe internal and strategic to your team and company. So organization and system administration, as you may understand from the name, it's basically how you're performing the administration function. So this would take pretty much whole day if I explain. So if interested, you can request for a separate detailed demo if you want to take a deep dive into the administration part. But now I would move on to the attract and onboard, which I also explained as your applicant tracking system and onboarding the new employees. So I would click on attract from here. So it would open up a new screen, and it would show me the various features which are available of creating and hiring the right candidates for your job. So this is the basic version of what you are seeing at the moment. There are additional add-on, which is also known as comprehensive hiring add-on, which really enhances the feature list which you are currently viewing. So you can contact us for knowing more about those features, and we would be happy to give you that information. So if you look, it is pretty simple UI, so it doesn't require much of the training for even like for HR and hiring managers. It's pretty easy to use. And when I click on jobs, so I can see all the jobs which have been opened in the organization, and it gives me the option of creating a new job. So I can just click on the job, say individual job. I can provide the job title. I can select my role, like it may be a recruiter or a hiring manager. If you are doing a bulk hiring for, say, summer interns, so you can have download the template from the hyperlink which is displayed here. And once you fill the template, you can drag and drop the file here, and all the various summer intern jobs, for example, would be imported and shown in your screen. And then you can define the process for each of those jobs. So when I talk of process, I would open up a job which is in a draft status. Say, for example, communication manager. So this job is currently I'm working on. So that is the reason you can see that is in the draft status. So if I click on communication manager, there are some of the fields which are required, say job title and job description. And once you provide all the information on this particular form, you can just click save and move on to selecting your hiring team under the hiring team tab. So I can select my team members from here. As I mentioned in my slide, that the whole talent solution is integrated with Office 365. So as soon as I start typing the team member name, I can select the team members and include them in the hiring team for this particular job. In this case, which is communication manager, I can select the role. For example, John Smith is an interviewer for this particular job, and I save my changes. And once I save it, I can then move on to the process, and this whole process can be customized and then again can be saved as a template. So if you are hiring a senior communication manager in future, you can easily select the whole process from the template list, and so that you don't have to do everything from scratch. And if you see on the right hand side, it shows me the activities which I can bring into the process here. So for example, I want after interview 1, for example, I want to have an interview 2. So I can just drag and drop, and where I want this to be included, I can include it in the process. So if before they come for interview, I want a YouTube URL. This URL from YouTube may have an introduction of my company and what my company does. So they are well aware of what they are doing. So all of this process is then shared with the employees, and they can know for the candidates, and they can know where they are at in the interview process. So it really helps you cut down the time where you are responding to the candidates about the status of their interview process. So this information can be accessed by the candidates through the candidate-facing URL, in which it is only accessible to them, and they can view the status of the whole process. So if they are rejected, they would see rejected there, and if they are in, say, interview stage 2, they would see that as well. And at the same time, the hiring managers are also updated, like they can come onto the same process screen and they can see which candidate is on which stage of the process. So once you are done with defining the process, you can activate the job, and this job would be posted onto the career site URL. So the career site URL is again part of the MS Talent, and the career site page is provided to the organizations, and they can then ingest that URL within their career page of their company website. And that would allow accepting applications from candidates from that URL. And also MS Talent offers integration of direct posting with some of the job boards, and that list is, as we speak, is increasing. It also is integrated with LinkedIn. So all the jobs which are activated from here are also posted onto the LinkedIn profile of your company under the job section. So that helps us understand how this process, like the complicated process, is simplified through Attract. So if I look on to a job which is, say, in an active stage, then you can see that number of applicants which have applied for that particular job and for how many days this job has been opened. So you can then further take additional steps. For example, this job has been for quite some time, and then you can see which applicants have applied for that particular job. You can have it in a carousel view where you can just swipe on from left to right to see the various applicants. And if I want to go and look into further details, I can click on, say, CRG user 2, and you can see that this particular candidate is on the application stage, has been completed successfully, and now the candidate is currently at the screening stage. And then you can, as you scroll down, you will see the next stages which are yet to be unlocked, like which is the interview and the offer. You can see the profile which has been created and submitted by this particular candidate. You can see if any notes were there, and then you can see the sample cover letter and the sample resume of that particular candidate without even the need of downloading it. As it is, it can be previewed. You can add further attachments if you need to, and then you can take further actions for this particular candidate. Either you can reject a candidate with a reason. So there are a lot of reasons which are defined here, and you can have your comments to that particular justification. And if, say, this particular candidate is very close but is not exactly meeting the need of this particular job, you can add that particular candidate to the talent pool. So for example, this candidate I can add to the finance pool. I can access that pool later. And from here, I can park my good candidates. So this gives me the idea of how you can manage the recruitment lifecycle. And it also integrates with your Office 365 and also to LinkedIn. Now, just in case like a candidate accepts the offer, then you can move on to the onboarding guides. So here you can see it opens up the user guides for all the employees. So for each employee, you can have a dedicated guide for their customized experience, and the guides can be created quickly from the template. So if I click on, say, plus sign, I can just put for the users for the employee. If the employee is not yet has joined the organization, I can just directly put the email ID. I can select when that particular person is joining. Say that person is joining in, say, 31st October, and I want this guide to be automatically sent one day before they join. And then I can select what I need to send. I can customize my email. And that email body can be customized. It is pre-populated for you, just in case you need to make any changes. You can select the template. So I just want to use the template which is already created for, say, Sally as a customer service associate. And I just click on done. And this guide, as we speak, is being created. It takes less than 2 minutes for the guide to be created, and then you can work on the guide. Like you can have a welcome message. So the onboarding solution which you are seeing here also provides you suggestions, like the industry best standards messages which you can see. You can use these messages. You can define the activities. So again, as you can see on the right hand side, you can add new sections. You can add new activities in your onboarding guides, and you can drag and drop any YouTube URL, any web content, any survey form through Microsoft Forms. And once this guide has been designed, you can save the changes. And also you can add the new context. For example, my name is automatically populated because I am the creator of this guide, but I can start including the team members of the future team, the hiring manager, and other important contacts, like contacts from your benefits program, from IT. So even before they join, they know whom they need to contact for say particular resources. And then I can schedule, send, or add or share with this guide with other team members in the organization. So as you can see that I selected this guide to be sent 1 day before the joining date. So that's why the date is coming as 30th. I can change that as well. And how it would look like to the end employee, it would be like this one. So I can see all the activities, the contacts, any resources which I have defined. So this gives pretty much a good idea how easily you can manage the onboarding requirements of your organization, giving them all the features which is required to create the customized guides quickly. So coming back to the human resources, which is the core HR, you can see how easily you can navigate back and forth to the various sections, and all this is also can be equally captured like for creating user guides by selecting the task recorder. So task recorder basically helps, once you make the task recorder live, all the actions which you are doing at the moment would be recorded in the background, and all that steps can be then exported out as MS Word document, and then you can share with other team members in your organization so they can reliably and quickly do the same set of steps which you have been doing. So this gives the option of having that. Talent is also offered through a mobile app. So if you download the app from App Store or Google Android Store, Microsoft Unified Operations, from there when you sign in, you would be able to see certain sections like Employee Self-Service and People module, which is available and helps you complete the urgent steps which may be required, like applying for leave or viewing contact information. So that is also available through mobile app as well. It has wide features of security and role assignments, so you don't need to worry about the data being shared without your knowledge to for the employee, which is they're not supposed to see. So we would work with you in setting all the roles and security setup, and once it has been done, you can be rest assured that the data would be secure. So this is all I have to share in terms of the features and the exciting solution which is provided with Microsoft. It also has an aggressive release cycle. Microsoft rolls out features on continuous basis, specifically in March and in October release cycle. So you would see a long list of features in the pipeline as we speak, being ready for rollout. So now I would pass my discussion to Natalie.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Yugong. That was great. As you can see, it is just a highly intuitive application. Now we're going to open things up for questions. So please do me a favor. If you've been saving them, get them into your GoToWebinar panel. I've been collecting the ones that have come in during the session, and I'm going to ask Yugong, and he'll respond as best possible. Okay, here's a good one. Do you have to be using Office Online to integrate to Talent?
Yes, it is advisable to have Office 365 to effectively use all the features of Microsoft Talent.
Okay. Another one is regards to Power BI, which is a huge value add for this product. Do you need separate Power BI licenses?
So that is something which we may have to look into your existing license agreement. More specifically, we may have to work out with your IT department. But in general, if you have a organization level licensing arrangement, most probably you already have those licenses. But again, I won't say no at the moment, but we may have to take a deeper dive into your licensing.
And what I'll do right now is I'll keep taking questions, but I want to make sure everybody has our contact information. So if you are interested in learning more about Talent, definitely contact us after today's event. Give us a call, send an email, and I will be sending these slides out and the video, so you will have our personal contact details as well. Yugong has developed a very thorough talent management questionnaire, which is a great first start in assessing exactly how you would kind of transition to a system like this. And we'd be happy to walk through the system one-on-one with you, so reach out. Okay, so back to questions. This is in regards to administrator permissions. How much flexibility do you have in setting administrative permissions?
So that is pretty wide. So you can apply the permissions at the role level and even at the user level. So it's pretty much secure, and it gives a wide variety of options while you are setting up the permissions. Excellent.
Okay, and can the time off forms be configured?
Yes, absolutely. So those forms can be configured as you define the leave plan. So for example, the form for adoption leave would be different from the form for, say, vacation. So that can be worked out as we are in the discovery phase of your business requirements.
Excellent. And then I have two questions here. This being a Microsoft product, are there integration tools for a mixed environment with Google G Suite platforms?
So it may be available in the App Store, but I cannot confirm at the moment. We can come back to you on that.
Yeah, so I have your contact information, and we will follow up with that answer. And the second part of the question is there a not-for-profit license program?
Yes, Microsoft provides not-for-profit pricing, which is quite attractive. So if you reach out to us with your requirements and number of users you are looking at, we can provide you the pricing for that.
Excellent. Another one is we have data in our old system. If we choose MS Talent, how easy is it to bring our data into Talent from an old system?
So as I did mention during my session, we have the templates ready. There are around 50 or 60 templates, and even we can create more templates through the system. And those templates give you the ability of just populating the data in the defined columns, and then we will pull in the data into MS Talent. So it is pretty hassle-free.
Excellent. Okay, and I have one more here. So if you have any others, definitely get them in. And it's in regards to access. Can employees access talent from outside the organization network?
Yes, that is something which cloud offering has to, as an additional feature, like it can be accessed from anywhere in the world, and they can, and it is secured through the Office 365 authentication, which is like two-factor as well. So you can choose that directly putting your access credentials, and then also because it is two-factor, you can have additional layer of security by approving through an app within your mobile, or just responding to a phone call, or typing in the confirmation which you get as a text message. So that user management is managed through Office 365.
Perfect. And then another one came in regards to that. Is there a mobile app for employees?
Yes, there is a mobile app with the name of Microsoft Unified Operations. And once you sign in through your Office 365 credentials, you would be able to see some of the basic features which would be available through the mobile app.
Excellent. Well, listen, we know it isn't easy to find an hour and 15 minutes in your day, so we definitely appreciate your time. Hopefully we were able to give you a good understanding of what's possible in talent. We've been nothing but impressed with it, and it is really making an impact with our clients. So if you would like to learn more, like I said, reach out, send an email, give us a call. We would be happy to address anything. And thank you to you, Gong.
Thank you.
And thank you again to everyone who joined. We hope you have a great afternoon.